In 1939, at a conference largely orchestrated by Harold Burris Meyer, a figure deeply involved in psychoacoustic research and wartime propaganda, an international effort was made to standardize musical tuning to A equals 440 Hertz. Strangely absent from the proceedings, because they were conveniently not invited, were prominent musicians and scientists who opposed the shift, many of whom believed that A equals 432 Hertz, long considered the more natural tuning, resonated more harmoniously with the cosmos in the human body. The conference was obviously political rather than musical, supported by parties with vested interests in mass influence and emotional manipulation, a claim bolstered by the involvement of military advisors and psychological warfare experts. Burris Meyer himself was connected with experiments on how sound could direct human emotion and even influence crowds, technologies the Nazis also explored under Joseph Goebbels' Ministry of Propaganda. Before this shift, many classical masters, such as Verdi, Mozart, and Handel, reportedly tuned closer to A equals 432 Hz, a pitch said to be rooted in natural harmonics, planetary cycles, and even the geometry of ancient sacred sites. The 432 scale aligns more closely with the Schumann resonance and mathematical structures of the golden ratio, forming intervals that many say are felt more deeply in the body, resonating with the heart rather than the head. The push toward A equals 440 was seen by some as an intentional disruption, a tuning that displaces listeners from natural resonance, causing mild agitation, increasing dissonance, and fragmenting collective consciousness over time. This isn't the first time rulers manipulated pitch for control. In ancient China, emperors were known to standardize the tonal frequencies of the imperial court. The yellow bell, huangzhong, was the foundational pitch used to regulate not just music, but law, ritual, and even calendar systems. When a new dynasty rose, they would recalibrate the national pitch, believing that proper harmonic order would re-establish cosmic alignment and reinforce the emperor's divine mandate. These pitch standards were guarded with the same intensity as sacred texts, proof of their perceived power. In ancient Egypt, priests tuned instruments in alignment with the stars and the resonance of temple chambers, maintaining harmony between land and sky. Folklore from the Druids and Vedic sages whispers that music was once used to build structures, heal the sick, and open gateways. In these traditions, tuning was not arbitrary, it was a sacred science. Even Native American flutes are tuned to natural resonances, each tone meant to speak to the earth and sky spirits. Legends from the East tell of emperors who silenced entire regions by altering musical scale, rendering people emotionally mute or compliant. In a forgotten Tibetan tale, it was said that the wrong tone could close the third eye, while the correct tone could make the mountain sing. The shift to A equals 440 Hz marked more than a musical change. It may have severed a link between modern humanity and the natural vibrational field of the earth, subtly transforming how we feel, think, and interact. From celestial harmony to controlled dissonance, the war over tuning is not just a story about sound. It's about frequency as a tool of freedom or control. In music theory, intervals, the spaces between notes and their tonal relationship to each other, are everything. They define chords, scales, and emotional tone. When you shift the bass pitch from A equals 440 Hz to A equals 432 Hz, the entire web of intervals changes slightly, like tuning a cosmic harp 1 degree back into alignment. Though subtle, the effect is profound. Minor thirds become rounder, perfect fifths more resonant, and chords take on a fuller, more organic feel. Musicians often describe A equals 432 as warmer or deeper, and this is no illusion. It reflects a closer alignment to natural overtone series and the body's bioelectric rhythm. The beauty of harmony isn't just math. It's physics, biology, and spirit woven together by vibration. Every musical note carries within it a family of harmonics. higher frequencies that vibrate in whole number ratios above the root. In A equals 440 Hz tuning, these harmonics sit slightly out of sync with the natural overtone cascade found in nature, whereas A 432 Hz aligns much more closely. This alignment causes chords, especially major triads and open fifths, to resonate with a harmonic coherence that feels alive, almost intelligent. In orchestral settings, when instruments are tuned to 432, there's often an unspoken feeling of space and clarity, as if the music is breathing. The body, made mostly of water and crystalline structures, receives these intervals not just through ears, but through resonant entrainment. We literally feel the difference. Throughout nature and the human form, the golden ratio, phi a range more of approximately 1.618, and the resonant frequency of 432 Hz appear with uncanny regularity, suggesting an underlying harmonic code to life itself. The spiral shells of nautilus and conch, the whorls of hurricanes, and the elegant arms of galaxies all follow the Fibonacci sequence, which approximates phi as it ascends. Plants such as sunflowers, pine cones, and Romanesco broccoli display this same ratio in their growth patterns and seed arrangements. In the human body, Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man depicts the golden ratio in anatomical perfection. The proportion from the navel to the feet compared to total height, or from the shoulder to fingertips versus the full arm length, aligns with phi. Even our DNA, with its helical pitch of 34 angstroms by 21 angstroms, echoes Fibonacci numbers. 432 Hz, often called the natural tuning, holds a mysterious relationship to these same principles. Its vibration is said to align with the frequency of the Earth itself, specifically the 7.83 Hz Schumann resonance, a foundational frequency of our planet's electromagnetic field. Multiplied up through octaves, this bass resonance approaches 432 Hz, linking human musical perception to planetary harmony. Interestingly, 432 times 60 equals 25,920, the length in years of the great year or precession of the equinoxes, a cosmic cycle revered by ancient cultures. Cymatic experiments further reveal that 432 Hz produces symmetrical, stable patterns when visualized in water or sand, unlike the more chaotic patterns of 440 Hz. Found across ancient instruments in Egypt, Tibet, and Greece, and encoded into architecture and bell systems of China, 432 Hz may have once formed the resonant foundation of sacred sound. Whether in the human form, the spiral of a seashell, or the deep pulse of the earth itself, phi and 432 appear as signposts of an organic harmony, long known, and it seems we have purposely been made to forget. The move from analog to digital music, while convenient, has not been without consequence. Analog sound is continuous, flowing like water through time. Digital sound, however, is chopped into bits and samples, reconstructing audio in square wave approximations that strip out subtleties and higher order harmonics. This can result in a brittle, hollow, or lifeless quality, especially noticeable when comparing vinyl records or reel-to-reel tape to MP3s or streaming audio. Digital music, especially when highly compressed, often loses the etheric harmonics, the subtle resonances that don't show up on an oscilloscope but can be deeply felt in the nervous system. In essence, digitization severs music from its fluid, sacred geometry. Retuning a digital file from A equals 440 to A equals 432 Hz is possible, but it's not as simple as hitting transpose. True retuning involves time stretching the entire waveform slightly down, typically about minus 1.82%. While this can bring the music closer to natural resonance, the digital nature of the file remains, meaning it may still lack the full spectrum of analog warmth and harmonic complexity. Some frequencies may be realigned, but the damage of compression, quantization, and harmonic truncation cannot be entirely undone. In other words, while retuning MP3s to 432 Hz may feel better than leaving them at 440, the deepest healing and resonance comes from music that is both tuned and recorded at 432 Hz from the source, preferably using analog methods. To realign society with the natural harmonics of the earth, a cultural shift in how we approach sound must occur, from education to industry. If we were to retune instruments, digital systems, media production, and therapeutic sound practices to A432 Hz, we could begin to rebuild a sonic environment that soothes the nervous system, supports mental clarity, and harmonizes with biological rhythms. This would involve musicians tuning to 432 Hz from the source, producers and engineers mastering in natural pitch, and audio software integrating native support for 432 Hz output. Public awareness and advocacy would be key, as would the support of music therapists, educators, and conscious artists. Like changing the water supply, it's systemic, but if done intentionally, it could ripple out to improve sleep, emotional regulation, focus, and even societal cooperation. In a world vibrating in tune with itself, dissonance, literal and metaphorical, could begin to subside, and we may live in harmony as a species on this planet once again.